Revives, sniping, armored grenade launchers, C4, sidearms, flash and cooks, RPGs to the face, dog tag collecting. I was throwing some really cool and interesting challenges for my YouTube community. My last community challenge video was how many revives I could get in a single match with 0 kills. And that was a ton of fun. Some of the challenges were pretty straightforward. Some have a bit more of a challenge than I had anticipated. But today's was just cathartically fun with its war crimes violence. It landed nicely in the shenanigans neighborhood, all snug in the middle of the street. And honestly, I'm surprised I hadn't tried this before. And besides, with all the rage bait at the state of the game and people tripping over themselves about the leaked information for Season 3... I'm over here chilling, vibing with the community, hanging out with you guys and talking Battlefield, War Dogs, Gray Zone, and the new Bellum game I showcased yesterday. You guys have been fantastic and dropped some really interesting points and opinions about Bellum. I asked for engagement and you guys delivered, so please keep that coming. I do have some thoughts on the leaked intel that's dropped recently, but I'm holding off on my take. I may drop that opinion off on Monday. We'll see.
Eyes on a machine gun.
Okay, so today's video, part 2 of the challenges.
Yay!
So here's the refresher. Okay, so C6 Money Pit 8 sent me this comment. Use the TR-7, no muzzle, iron sights, no grip, max mag, which I have not unlocked yet, green laser, flashpoint, and a short barrel. Now, C6 Money Pit 8s didn't specify any stipulation on how many kills in a life or a match or anything like that. Basically just challenged me to set this up. So I built it as close as possible and ran a few matches. And I can see why he uses this setup. I also see why a lot of players use the TR-7. It can be a beast, but it's also a tad bit unwieldy. Recoil is way stronger than, say, the laser beam of the Cord. I don't normally run hipfire only, but now that I've played it with this weapon, I plan on rebuilding it so there's something more my playstyle, and we'll probably play the shit out of it. Not yet convinced this will be my go-to weapon, yet. But I can see it as a top 5 AR in my arsenal. Burst fire seems to be the best way to handle this weapon, especially if you're hip firing. Usually just took 2 or 3 rounds to get kills. Now, you guys should know by now, I don't hop around like a crack fiend on a sugar high when I play. I never have. I've always played this franchise with some grounded approach. I camp, I hunt, I crawl, I sneak around, I take wide-ass flanks from time to time. Is it sexy? Oh, gods no. Is it TikTok worthy? And get out of here with that shit. But it is oftentimes effective. Few things are more satisfying than flanking around all sneaky and coming up behind some level 600 player who's got those dance moves like the ground is a frying pan and 3 bullets from my TR-7 right to the back of his head.
I'm over here. Take it.
Objective Alpha is under our control.
Way to go. Good work.
Marked objective under threat. Let's defend the position.
I had some dudes try to slide kill me, hop kill me, and moonwalk their silly ass around me to end my progression only to get met by a burst from this weapon. And it was more fun than it should have been. So this is the setup. Remember, the challenge was with a max magazine, which I don't have unlocked yet, so I went with the biggest one I have unlocked so far. Your typical 33 damage AR, rate of fire is 720, the hip fire damage is at 59, precision is 17, so on the low end, same with the control at 29, and the mobility is at 50. Now, this might have been what some may consider an easy challenge and a no-brainer to use this weapon. Where I found the biggest challenge was the hip fire. Now, C6 Money Pit 8 didn't specifically state I needed to hip fire all my kills, but I did try to focus on that type of shooting. I found it to be very effective in close range, but due to the recoil, not so much at distance, say outside 25 meters. I'm simply so used to ADSing that I often don't even realize I'm doing it. It's just ingrained into my gaming habits. And forcing myself to hip fire as much as possible was a challenge to my playstyle more than anything else. What I enjoyed about this challenge wasn't so much the weapon, but the approach to changing habits. When I was running this, I kind of felt like I was playing the game for the first time. And what I mean by that is that it took some getting used to. And it made me play differently in that it felt like it was a totally new game sometimes. Now, this isn't really a new concept for you or me. You get a new weapon, gadget, or vehicle, and you gotta take them out for a test drive. And sometimes those items don't perform exactly as older ones do because they operate differently. For me, such was the case here. The weapon had been around a while, but how I used it was just completely different. And so everything felt different, which I was kind of digging. I don't know if this would change my entire approach, though. I'm still an ADS hoodrat, but I do enjoy a change of pace from a different angle here from time to time. It also made me appreciate the various playstyles other people tend to use when they play a game. Now, like I said, I may not abandon my own playstyle here, but I could definitely add the TR-7 to my loadouts when I want to get a bit spicy. If you haven't checked out the weapon, I strongly suggest giving it a test drive. Remember, it's got a recoil, but it's a beast to use once you get that recoil under control. So, C6 Money Pit 8's TR-7 challenge. Use the TR-7, no muzzle, iron sights, no grip, max mag, green laser, flashlight, short barrel. This was a fun challenge, and I plan on continuing it as a regular thing to see how brutal I can make it while matching my own approach. And I had a ton of fun with this challenge and weapon. This weapon fits nicely in the hoodrat shit of we all love doing. It's gross and it hits hard. So, C6 Money Pit 8, thanks for this. I had a good time running this weapon, and I can see why you use it as you do. Now that I've completed this challenge, here's what I've changed. I removed the flashlight and laser, added a stubby grip, for now, a suppressor, and the 2 Pro 1.25x reticle. Hip fire is now at 34, precision is up 1 at 18, control at 33, and the mobility at 54. It's a work in progress, but for now, this is my current TR-7 loadout. And so, here's the stat comparisons in case anybody was interested. My version took a nosedive in the hip fire department, but that's fine, as I don't generally tend to shoot that way. Once I get it spec'd out the way I like it, I'll look at the numbers again. Now, one of the things I had to keep reminding myself was the laser and the flashlight. Like, I get using them in things like Nightfall or just a regular hack-and-call base map. But I already knew running a flashlight in that mode and map would have made me stick out really bad, so I opted to just running outdoors maps to try and lessen the obviousness of me using a flashlight. But when I stopped long enough to camp for a moment, I had to remember constantly I was running a flashlight and needed to tuck that away, so to speak, so it didn't look like I was firing off the bat signal and giving myself away. So there was that to contend with. With all sorts of players breakdancing across the map looking for their next target, I tend not to use flashlights or lasers because I'm not trying to make it any easier for them to shoot me down. So these two attachments also further the challenge for me. But I didn't see it as a net negative, I just saw it as a detail in the challenge itself.
Hostile casualties are being reported. Defend that objective!
It was at this moment that he knew. He fucked up.
It's still fun to play with, and if anyone hasn't used it yet, like I said, I strongly recommend it. Figure out the recoil and go fuck up somebody's day. I'm still running the other challenges. There's 11 more of the 13 I was originally sent. I think what interrupted my normal schedule since the past weekend has been resolved, and I could go forward making the next few videos with multiple challenges. I didn't want to stretch this out over 13 videos. For content, that's great, but for pacing, it might tend to get a bit slow and boring. So hopefully the next video of the challenges will have more than just one. And remember, for the second series, if there's enough interest in this one, I dropped a counter challenge. Bring me a challenge a casual player could potentially pull off. I picked the top 3 or 4. I dropped them into the community post. You guys vote for the best one. I run that challenge. If I fail, the challenger gets a free item of their choice from the merch store. Easy peasy. So get your submissions in. The sub goal of 3K is just around the corner, so if you're new here and into the tomfoolery, shenanigans, and hoodrat shit, consider hitting the sub button. We have the usual plugs every other channel has, you know where they live. We also have monthly spotlights on veteran support groups and programs. This month we're spotlighting the Wounded Warriors program. Details are at the bottom of the video description. Please take a moment, check them out to see if you're interested in supporting our troops. So, now, go forth and enjoy your weekend. Thanks for watching. Until the next one, out.